Like I'm reaching here. Okay. Are we streaming? That is the question. Maybe. YouTube thinks so. Twitch seems to think so. The lighting today is odd because it's so bright outside. Twitch seems... Here we go. All right. My own biggest fan as usual. Well, welcome to Code Hangout number 99.2, where we're gonna optimize some more. And let's hope that Restream is gonna treat us well today. It says excellent, but I'm not sure if it's trustworthy in that regard. Okay, as usual, if there's any issues with audio, video, etc., let me know. Today I might have to have the zoom a little smaller because we're trying to squeeze more things on the screen. So today we're going to do another round of optimizations. Partly because last time I didn't actually get to the part I wanted to do, which is some server settings stuff regarding zipping up the files delivered, and maybe also taking a quick look at minimizing and packaging up the JavaScript. And partly because I did some testing recently on my phone, which you see here on the screen. It's just, you know, sitting right there, plugged into my computer. And the phone is accessing through the DevTools proxy, which I believe I can show you. Yeah, through this port forwarding setting, it's actually accessing the site on my computer, the same thing as I would normally do in the browser when I'm testing. And yet it's feels slow and sluggish. So I'd like to look into this. And not just slow and sluggish, it feels slow and sluggish before it even loads the replay. Now, loading the replay is a relatively slowish process. In fact, here you can see it took 2 seconds to load the replay. But I'd like to put some timing in and get a better idea of overall performance and what else there is besides the replay. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something really silly happening that just doesn't need to happen and I can fix it, you know? So that's what I'm kind of trying to take a look at. And if we have time, I want to see if I can enable gzipping on the server, because there's a big discrepancy between this performance loading things from app.cracknencrypted.com, which is a Firebase server, and the performance loading things from SudokuPad.app, which is my AWS server. And it could be that they just have some basic settings differently. So, yeah, obviously I'm running my own Node.js server. So obviously it's not just a setting. I literally have to implement gzipping, but it's doable, you know. And there might be some things Firebase just does. So first of all, let's just do a refresh here. This is a fairly chunky replay, right? And like right now, even how long this screen stays white before the puzzle even shows, it feels too long, right? And I thought I did a change recently where it should show the puzzle before loading the replay. But I don't know if that's all happening, you know? And you look at that, that's 12 seconds. Now, 12 seconds actually isn't that terrible. I've had worse, especially loading from SudokuPad.app. But it's not great either. And obviously, if I can test it locally, then that's definitely a lot easier for me to fix. Now, the only issue is right now is that these are hosted or served through the Firebase command line, not through the code I'm running. So maybe the first thing we should do is also host this stuff. Actually, yeah, I think I can host locally how I would normally host on, like, serve on SudokuPad.app on my Amazon server. So I think if I do this, so that would do a staging here. So if I go to SudokuPad.app, and do an npm run test, we should hopefully... Are we going to get 1 or 2 here? Because I'm seeing staging. Oh no, it should be local, right? And it should be on port 912. So for example, if I load this up now on port 912, this should be... Well, it should work, which it doesn't, but it could also be that it's just not ready yet. 912. Excuse me. 9 12. Handle server listener 9, 12. Oh, HTTPS. Why you do that? Okay. We should be able to do this and get up. Okay. So this should be coming through our AWS server. So now let me load up this puzzle, which is obviously a little larger. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look. Ported 44 not found. What? Oh, double slash. That's snuck in there. Yeah, stuff like that should really be self-correcting. But anyway. And let's load it up through the Firebase one as well. And obviously with cache disabled. So this does a URL correction, which isn't great. No, it doesn't. I have a double slash again somehow. In fact, wait a second. If I just paste what I have in my clipboard. Because I had the slash in the clipboard. Okay, never mind. That's a red herring. So let's see. We have a load time of 2.6 seconds. You see, like 2.6. Why does it take that much longer on the phone? 1.2 seconds. All right, let's make sure. Do the same thing here. Yeah, so this, you see, locally it's actually faster, which is what I would expect. Download size 1.2 megabytes transferred, 791 kilobytes transferred. So I'm suspecting we are getting gzipping here. So let's enable large request rows, and let's have a look at, you know, let's look at the big whopper script.js, right? Yeah, 550 kilobytes instead of 208. And here, yeah, so gzipping is probably partially responsible. So let's do the same thing, and let's get all these URLs here for reference. So let's do the same thing on app.cracking.cryptic.com and SudokuPad.app. So we have app.cracking.cryptic.com/Sudoku because of Firebase, and then we'll have SudokuPad.app without the Sudoku. So let's do this one first. Let's get another tab going. Yeah, with cache disabled. That'll be our third here. And that felt really quick. 1.84 seconds, right? And it downloaded. I mean, it's not fully done. Oh, that's probably just some Google Analytics stuff. So 1.57 seconds, and it downloaded 780 kilobytes, right? And this one now, sometimes this one is super slow for me. And it's unfortunately not super reproducible. You see, this is much slower. 4.5 seconds. But I've had it go up to like 20 seconds or something ridiculous like that. This is part of the reason why I haven't deployed, like I haven't finished a move to this server. I'm still double paying on servers because I haven't quite figured out why it's performing so badly. I mean, part of it could be just, you know, physically, this is, maybe the Firebase stuff is better internationalized, right? With a European endpoint. But there's got to be other stuff. And I just thought, you know, like a difference between 1.2 megabytes and 780 kilobytes shouldn't make a difference at all. Like, you know, I can download 40 megabytes per second. But maybe it does, right? I don't know. Especially maybe because maybe it's loading multiple files like in sequence. So it can't start the next file. You know, so the actual transfer speed is basically irrelevant. Although it obviously can't be because it should be the same number of connections. Let's see if it tells us 54 requests, 57 requests, 57. 1 out of 62. That's with the filter on. 62 requests, 59. I don't know why they'd be so different. And script here, 46 kilobytes. It's even smaller. Oh, because that's the other version. Yeah, okay. I'm not comparing apples to apples here. Beta and whatever. Wow, it's grown by almost 10K in the latest update. All right. I guess the mobile phone could give us another insight in terms of it just being much slower on a phone, maybe. So let's try it. So if I go to the remote SudokuPad address, is it much slower than from my computer? 5.4 seconds. I think that's 6.6. It's very, very similar, I believe. 4.5, yeah. So I don't think we're gaining anything by going to the phone here. All right, let's do one last comparison on the Firebase version locally. So this is Firebase local. And we got that 6.3 seconds. My God, I still don't understand why the local one is as slow as the remote. 11 seconds, okay. Oh, but that's with replay, all right. Oh. Oh. Ah, because this one is probably not proxied. So we probably have to add this one. 912. Oops. 9012. Localhost on 9012. Okay. Let's try that again. Doesn't like it. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, okay, that's working. 9012 should work now. No. 9, because I completely butchered that spelling. All right. Ah, here we go. All right, so see, it says finished, and now what is it doing? So it's rendering the puzzle. Man. And it could also be something silly, like the Google Analytics hooking it up. All right, so I'm gonna do a couple of poke redos to see if I can get a better idea exactly where this slowdown comes from, right? So let's do it let's start with our blank puzzle. So we can exclude things like, you know, puzzle data processing and maybe some weirdnesses with long URLs and so on. Yeah, so there's a pause. There's still a pause, but it's much shorter. So now maybe we can figure out where that pause comes in. So it looks like it's really when it's hitting Google Analytics stuff. So we definitely should set it up in a way that we don't have to wait for Google Analytics. So one thing we could try is to literally just comment out all the Google Analytics stuff and see if that, you know, if that makes a big difference. So if I do this, yeah, you see we still have that freeze, because I can't imagine that that should be it. Although I've had issues with Google Analytics before. Clear interval ID. Clear interval. GA create. Clear interval. Because I did like a weird thing with timing it out. Wait a second. So first of all, why the hell is it not loading at all now? That doesn't make any sense. What's going on here? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Well, this seems faster, right? 1.17 seconds. Oop, didn't mean to press that. Okay, 1.19 seconds. So that's reasonable for just loading, you know, 50 odd resources for no freaking reason, right? So we definitely just like munging this all together into one chunk would definitely improve that. So there's two things I can try. One is just concatenating all the JavaScript into a single file and minifying, yada yada, or just plain minifying, right? Either one is probably painful if I try to do it without tooling, but I'm tempted to try it anyways because I'm a bit silly that way. I mean, we could manually just chunk some of these bigger ones together, like Framework or Studio. Let's see what the thing is here. the order of size. I mean, script is by far the largest. But I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot has to do with just how many files there are. So just individually minifying them probably isn't going to help much. Now that it is... I think we can just do these note-taking things here. Now that it is significantly faster without the Google Analytics, let's go back to a large file. Or a large puzzle. And see how that works out. It's also interesting that it's not... oh yeah, no, it won't have replay data here for this. Okay. Let's refresh this again. So there's definitely a pause now. So this very likely has to do with the puzzle itself. In 5.74 seconds. So let's add some timing information and see if we can figure out where exactly that time comes. Is it just parsing? Is it rendering? We're just going to throw a few logs in there and figure out what's happening when, right? So let's start from the top. So let's start at the very, very tippy top here and just do console.log. And I think for this, we probably want timing on. I believe we have that here. So we'll do just sudoku.html head top. And we'll just put a few of these in here. We'll do one here. Body top. Oop. Probably should do a head bottom then as well. And then we'll do a body bottom. So that's our HTML. And it'll also let us know, you know, if there's something waiting for something, if there's something being asynchronous, yeah, and so on and so forth, right? So, and our entry point is handle DOM content loaded. So we'll do this. And no, we'll have to actually do this, right? Start. End. All right. And that should be visible here. Yeah. So these all happening very quickly. Start is delayed barely at all, so not really very much. And then even end, we hit end fairly quickly as well. So we're well, I was going to say obviously not waiting for this, but it loaded very quickly now as well. So yeah, okay, start hasn't happened. No, start hasn't happened, but end hasn't happened. So, man, it looks like it's intermittent as well, which is exactly what I was afraid of. That's going to be the hardest to figure out. But you see, suddenly we have like a 6-second pause here. Well, let's see what else we can find. So I suspect, well, load puzzle is our culprit here, right? So let's start up here. So, and we can use console time, maybe might make it a little easier to follow. So we have load puzzle, blip, 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 unpack. Let's just call it load puzzle unpack. Right. And then we can just do one for this little bitty here. Maybe we can analyze a little bit where this weird pause happens, even if it's intermittent, you know? So unpack seems to be very fast. Okay, that's good because, well, good and bad. It's good because this shouldn't take long, and it's bad because it's not like an easy thing we can sort out. But why this one sometimes takes, you know, whatever it was, 800 milliseconds, sometimes 5 seconds, that's odd. So let's start looking into that. Can I get it to indent? Yeah. So we have convert puzzle. Well, let's try that. And maybe there's an opportunity for doing some refactoring in here as well. And then we have load puzzle itself. So you see, this was a fast one again, 850 milliseconds. It's almost, maybe it's alternating. And it could be something weird, like when it accesses local storage or a secondary request, or maybe like setting up a base 64 encoded image or something weird. Well, let's see. So it's definitely in convert puzzle. Okay, that's interesting because convert puzzle is synchronous and it shouldn't be doing a lot. So that's odd. Well, let's do a few time checks here. So let's do one for this initial bit. Again, doesn't look like anything's actually happening here. Let's do 2 here. Let's do 3. Let's just split it into a few parts and see if we can find like an obvious culprit. That's all not doing anything, it's just declarative. Let's go here. All right, we're already on 4. And 5. And 5. And then we'll do, just for good measure, we'll do 6 here until we are done. All right. And maybe I don't have to do it through the phone, but I've noticed some of the issues here. Okay, so it looks like the majority of the time is spent definitely in number 5. And let's redo this and hope we get that weird glitch where it takes 5 seconds and see if that's in the same section. Yes. Yes, so it's in number 5. I'm guessing number 5 is just where everything happens, right? Oh no, not at all. What the heck? Show meta info. Why do I have I have a suspicion it's here? Well, let's make this 5.1. Let's be 5.1, and then we'll do 5.2, 5.2. I have a suspicion that is in show meta info, which would be interesting because no, it's not. It's in has XV. What the hell? It's the rule tester? It's the rules parsing? What the heck? And specifically has XV. Oh. Maybe I did something horrible in this regular expression. Maybe I'm doing something horrible in this regular expression that causes it. Oh, and it doesn't explain why it's intermittent, but it might explain why it's different for different kinds of puzzles. Maybe it's intermittent depending on like where we're up on some sort of loading state, something. I still don't understand why sometimes it's slow and sometimes it's fast. What that would depend on. Like, this was a fast one, right? Normal Sudoku supply, random pink line. It's not even a long one, right? Let's do this as well. And I wonder if it's related to if it's cached or not. No, doesn't seem like it. Oh, why is it frozen at this point suddenly? That doesn't make sense at all. That does not make sense. E name too long. Is that something that's happening every time? Wait a second. Does it maybe crash? Does it crash the server? And then when I reload, it's slow because it needs to refresh, restart the server or wait for it to do something? So that's a fast one. No, it didn't crash here just now. And this one was a slow one. Alright, so that's not it. But it's still definitely the parsing, right? 5.1. So it has XV. Well, let's look into that. I mean, that's definitely something we should be fixing. So let's have a look at this regular expression and maybe we can run it into some external tool. Hey, Joe Hato on Twitch and Shelby on YouTube. Oh, okay. It's just both of you. Hey, today I'm going to take another look at performance because I've got this weird thing where every other reload, this part takes either 700 milliseconds or 5 seconds. And it's literally a regular expression check from the rules parser. So I must have done something very stupid in a regular expression. I still don't know why it alternates between about 5 seconds, about 700 milliseconds. But either way, doing a regular expression on a very short text should not take that long. Now, the problem is the regular expression itself is 48 kilobytes? What the hell? How is the regular expression 48 kilobytes? What the hell? How did I do that? What the hell? Ah! That I did not expect. Holy crap. Well, let's grab that. And let's map that to the lengths of each of those parts. Like, because there aren't that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's 19 cases. And this doesn't seem that long. So we're column 7, column 80. So like 60, like 70 characters each times 20. That's not 50 kilobytes. My gosh. All right. Oh, 4. What? RX FV phrase. Holy crap. Okay, so 1 and 2 are long. 4 is not that long. 5 and 6 are relatively long, not quite as long. It must be this one, right? And that's why you don't use regular expressions when you're supposed to be using a parser. I'm pretty sure that's why that is. Holy crap. All right. Let's take a closer look at these biddies here. So this is the RX phrases. And then let's look at RxV phrase as well. My God. I didn't, like, I wasn't really paying attention to that sort of thing because I didn't expect that sort of thing to even be possible. So so this is 2K, and then this uses it twice, and that makes it 4K. Holy crap, okay. RECell and RxV to numbness. I guess we'll dig in a bit further. So we'll do that. And RxV cell. Holy shoot. RE cells, right? Well, my God, 48 kilobytes in a single regular expression. My God. All right. And I wonder if even doing simple things like, I don't know if there's any more preparation I can do besides this. So cells is 161. XV sum to list. RE separated. Like individually, they don't seem that long. RE cells is 161. RXV sum to list is 1.9. Okay, so that's definitely the next step. So RX sum to list. So let's have a look at this sub expression. And I've done this actually not too long ago. So I have these 3 sub expression. Because I was wondering if I created a loop somewhere with stuff, but I don't think that's even possible. 957 for REXV sum 2. We'll have A, B, and C. A, B, and C. Maybe it's as simple as just optimizing these a little bit. Or even just make them a little dumber and get rid of some of this. So let's see. Got 400, 300, 200 bytes. And together they're almost a kilobyte. And then 2 of them, that's 2 kilobytes. And then 2 of those. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's see what we can do here. So A, B, and C. So these were the 3 different ways I wanted to be able to express that. Oh. Nope. Can I do this now? Yeah. Holy, all right. So these are super similar. Oh, but because I'm trying to parse out the 5, 10, and 15 stuff. REXV list, REXV list. So if I can make these 2 the same thing, or put them into one thing. Let's do it this way. Because other than that, these 2 strings are identical, right? So what if I just take these 2 and OR them? Right? So instead of doing these 2, step 1, we'll do something like this. In fact, REXV, we're using that elsewhere. In fact, we're already doing this. So we can do something like const REXV or list equals this, basically. Right? That's identical to what we're using down here. And then we should be able to use it here instead of A and B. get rid of B for now. And then C. Well, that's a bit different. Now, B is no longer involved. See how that changes the numbers. How's the audio and the video? By the way. Alright, so A and C are still 400 bytes each, which is still really long. I mean, 25 to 170, that's 140, 150 character. Because I tried to make it work with so many different things. Regular expression is just the wrong tool for this job. I wonder if I should just rip it out, because it's not worth it, especially on a puzzle that doesn't even wait, what if I'm wondering if I should do like a pre-check. It's like saying, hey, only apply this regular expression if it contains some part of it, right? That's a small, fast check. And if it doesn't contain that pass, don't apply it, you know? And kind of do it with the whole list and then apply them one after the other instead of applying them all simultaneously as one ginormous regular expression, you know? In fact, instead of... Yeah, I mean... yeah, I never even thought about having to optimize these, actually. So I figured they wouldn't execute very often and would just be... I couldn't imagine a regular expression taking 5 seconds to execute. Still doesn't explain why it takes 800 milliseconds sometimes. It could be some internal pre-compilation thing, you know, cache thing, I don't know. All right. I mean, this is not the only big one. Now, overall, we've only shaved off like 600 characters. Let me see. A is 400, C is 437. How is C so big? Are you separated? Alright. Oh, that's kind of long. Shoot. Yeah, they don't all make sense for this. I was being a bit lazy because cells that sum to 5 or 10 are that share an edge width. This is never going to happen here. So if I do something like this, RE separated, R, which doesn't make sense here, always separated, connected, joined, REXV, and are separated by an X or V, are marked, no, REC value. Yeah, that doesn't make sense here either. That share an edge are always separated, connected, joined by with an XV. So, you know, something like that. It's already like, especially something that's going to be used that many times, it's potentially cutting out a couple of kilobytes. Still not the vast majority of this stuff. REXV or list contains, separates, joins pair of digits that which summing, that which sum. I wonder if it would be more efficient to keep this as a list and then just as an array and basically go through the array and just apply each one until one matches rather than having the whole thing as a humongous singular regular expression. And I wonder if I can do this in an automated fashion. So first of all, let's pull out the list. So RE has X has XV parts equals, we'll do this. Just so we can work more easily with it. So we're going to remove that. And I might undo the stuff above then, because then it doesn't matter. You know, applying 1 or 2 4K regular expressions probably isn't that big of a deal. So, make RE has rule tester. So that's what we're currently using. Let's just do that so I can have it here as a reference. So then const make RE make rule tester from parts. Rules. Boom. So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to create a list of regular expressions and then go through them one at a time until one matches, because I think currently this is an OR, right? So it just tries to find any of them. And we want to pre-process the parts, right? So we're going to do parts. We're going to do let 4, let I equals 0, then equals parts.length, I smaller than I plus plus. So now we're going to do parts I equals, actually we're going to do let REs. We're going to do REs I equals parts I, and we're going to generate a regular expression similar to this, right? So it's going to be this with that in it, with the IM there, and the rule end attached to each one, like that. And then we can just, you know, I don't like res. It's supposed to be RE with an S for plural. Just gonna do this. Right? And then for the rules checker, if I return false here, or whatever is this supposed to return, a match. So if I return undefined, that should be a non-match. Match. Also would be interesting to see if it's getting executed more than once, because maybe we can just cache that. RE, well, you already can see how fast it loads now, because just even checking out that 800 milliseconds makes a huge freaking difference. But right now we're just cutting the whole thing. So we have only, do we have only one? I think we have only one call to match, which is a pity. That one call is causing so much trouble. All right. And we might want to check for the other ones as well, because the other ones are maybe not as chunky. Because this one I've done most recently. And to be honest, I don't actually care about the 5 and 15 stuff. So this is not really a super important one. All right. Where are the arrays? RE. So that's our list. And we'll probably do something like, so this is a list of regular expressions, right? So we should be able to do something like map re dot to string dot length. So that should work as well, and it should give us these. Now these are still long, but if we only check one of these at a time, then you know, and we could we could sort, yeah, we could actually sort them by length, right? So in fact we should. So we should do something like re.sort b And we'll just do a.toString dot length minus b.toString dot length. So that should sort them one way or another, and then we'll just reverse it if it's the wrong direction. re dot sort. One sec. Oh, equals what? That doesn't make any sense. The joys of untyped languages. Yeah, so the sorting works. So after the sorting, the shortest one is at the front. Oh, sure, it's slow, yeah. So capturing groups might be slow. So probably going in there and just undoing all the capturing might already make a huge difference. So let's go back to the case where it's slow. So it could also, yeah, so definitely the phone is struggling a lot more. So maybe regexes on the phone are just worsely implemented, right? So let's also let's change this to well, we know it's this, right? We know it's this. RE has rule is this. Right? So if I do this, something like let res equals return res, and then I can do console.time has xv. So that should give me the timing just for this function call, right? And it's 600 milliseconds. Now I haven't seen that 5000 millisecond one, and I think here it is. 3500, yeah. So that's odd. Let me check about my, yeah, just finished my playlist. So today the stream seems to be working fine compared to last time, which was, oh no, YouTube is complaining again. Oh no. Is the YouTube video, it says it's healthy now. No, wait, it's an error at 7:10. That was 15 minutes ago. I don't know if it's good right now. How is the stream on YouTube right now? I'm looking at my own version of the stream. It seems to be all right. Or is it stuttery? Hard to tell. Let me see. Buffer health, 120 seconds. Are we getting dropped frames? 0 dropped. So at the moment we should be okay. It doesn't, my head movement doesn't seem smooth. But I'm not sure where that's coming from. Alright, let me know if the video isn't running well for you. Okay, so we know that this sometimes takes forever. And I'm guessing it's because it's a very long thing. So now if we go through here and just remove all, like, make all these non-capturing groups, all these inner ones, maybe that'll speed it up already quite a bit. So if I make all of these non-capturing, because none of these need to be capturing, it's just, you know, a lot of extra characters to put in there. In fact, let me double check the syntax. JavaScript regex non-capturing groups. I think it's question mark colon, right? Yeah, question mark colon. And I guess I can just throw that into everyone here. And it shouldn't make a difference at all. Yeah, there's a lot of these. Okay. And there's a lot of like stacked ones. Like it's quite dense with them as well. All right, the one here. Oh my gosh, so many. One here. And then it's mixed in with question marks used for other purposes. Oh geez. Okay. All right. And then if I goes up here, I have a lot of these generic things. It's probably very worthwhile to do that there, even for all the other ones. I don't even know if this is the latest rules parser file, so... All right. Yeah, this already makes a huge difference. No. Well, it did. It seems to have made a difference from 3.5 seconds to 3.1 seconds. 185 milliseconds on the fast one. When it hits this weird slow one, it's still, man, it's still over 3 seconds. Holy shit. All right, let's see if there's more. One way of figuring out if there's capturing groups, we'd need to get a puzzle where it actually matches anything, though. Because here it doesn't actually match any. This rule set does. It's just a negative on this. I also wonder if I could do this asynchronously. That's another thing that could be done to improve it in a generic way without having to go through things one by one, you know? Now this is our capturing group. RE rule end. Is that something we can decapturify? There's stuff like this as well. And this. I could ironically use a regular expression to find them all, potentially, or many of them. Yeah, I don't see any more here. Well, that didn't make as much of a difference as I had hoped. Well, the other fix works, so we're definitely going with that one. And I might have to retroactively change the other ones to do it the same way. We might be able to just leave this in place now. Although this is still a change we can do, I think. I mean, I'm not really testing it here in detail, but I'm also loath to do it because it is actually not a very important one. In fact, what am I using it for at all? It's literally just setting this flag, and I'm not actually sure if I'm using it in a lot of places. Like, is this XVS being used anywhere? It's used here. I'm not entirely certain. Okay, it's just automatically generating cages, which is not really an important thing. Yeah. It's really, it's not really a feature that's actually being used. Well, and if we do it this way, it should still work. Let's see, we're getting 156 at the end here. But that's okay, you know. So let's try loading it with a replay now. So under import export, we load file. And I have to do that on the phone because it doesn't come through on the browser. And what's the let's see. 10K. Let me change the sort order. Sort by largest first. So it's this particular puzzle, huh? Let's go one down, just so I have a different one. All right, and how long did this take? So this was 1 second for replaying the replay. And overall, finish after 15 seconds. But I think that includes potentially the loading of the file. Yeah, 1.5 seconds, 1 second for the 1.1 seconds for loading. And then the replay, 900 milliseconds. So that overlaps here. But it's, yeah, like as long as it's like 2-3 seconds, it's no big deal at all. And here, yeah, you see the individual matches are super quick, even on this phone. Now we know there's like 2 modes where one is really slow versus the other one. But yeah, 59 milliseconds, 59, 59. It's like, it's quite consistent actually as well now. I'm wondering if there's something, what's the word? What's the word? Non-deterministic in the regular expression compiler, where it sometimes compiles it into a different form, in which case it then performs much worse. It's very possible. All right, let's move this back into its place, which should be up here. And then down here, get rid of these. Don't need that. Don't need that. We have our parts here. And now the only change we really did to the rules themselves is this. I'm almost tempted to undo it just because I don't have the time to validate this correctly now. To make sure it works as well as prior. I mean, this would still perform worse because there'll be one fairly chunky rule in there. But you see, it's like 69 instead of 59 milliseconds. Like 10 milliseconds difference. It's... yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is equivalent. Yeah, I'm willing to do... I'm willing to make that change. So we're combining A and B into one. We're getting rid of A and B. We get rid of C. No, wait. We rename C to B. And then we get rid of C here. Like that. And now I'll have to validate this against our data set elsewhere. All right, so now that gets this particular step down to 54 milliseconds. And I'm almost tempted to put a timer on it just because it's proven itself to be a little bit of a pig at this point. So maybe we'll keep a timer on it. So we're just gonna do app convert puzzle as xv. And we'll just leave this timer in place. And then the others are basically inconsequential now. Like all the other ones basically are less than 10 milliseconds. Now, we have replay play here, and then load CTC puzzle at 1.2 seconds. Is that our overall? And then DOM content loaded end down here. So we can also time that, maybe. And that should include both. Because I wasn't sure if it would actually include both. We can just put that down here. One second, I'm just checking the Discord. All right, let's see. So it's 1.3 seconds in total. So I'm guessing these two overlap. because I think replay play is part of the load. So time and unpack, where is that? Unpack, it's up here. Yeah, so unpack, it definitely wasn't the issue. Then we have app load CDC puzzle. So replay is happening in here. All right. All right, and we can get rid of most of the convert puzzle timers, because none of these are significant, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, none of them are over 10 milliseconds, which is good. And there was another here, so 4 we rid of. And we don't want that anymore. And then afterwards I'll go through and get rid of any weird timing or spacing differences I've made. Like this, for example. I don't want to remove those blank lines just to reduce the diffs. And the timing on these is also not a problem. In fact, what we might do... I don't know if I can do a console timer here. What if I do console time sudoku.html like that, and then take all the way to the bottom and do an end here. I don't know exactly if that'll work or what it'll actually time. Oh, it does time the loading of the HTML, so we can get rid of these. Make it a little bit less verbose. All right, so what's next? This now we don't need as a check plate, but it's interesting. Yeah, so this doesn't happen until that. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So our DOM count load event doesn't fire until the other thing is loaded. We don't need those anymore. We just care about the timing information. All right, where are we at now? So the replay is a second and the entire thing is 1.2 seconds. So that's so much better. Holy moly, especially on like phones. That was painful. And good that I did this. I should have done this ages ago. Like, what the hell, you know? I could have never imagined that it was a regular expression. Jeez. Right, so that's 1.294 seconds for the entire handle DOM content loaded. Now, if I clear progress, right, and now reload it, yeah, see, it's just boom. That's how it should be. Now, it's probably still broken on SudokuPad.app, right? Because that's actually a good question. Because hasXV, that function probably already existed then. So here, right? Now we can, yeah, we could do something, right? We can do a deploy alpha. And then we can compare beta and alpha, at least. So we have this. We can do a beta, which is very close to the alpha version. All right, let's load it once and let's just refresh it. Right? And it's still sluggish and slow, right? It's not just my brain. 7.5 seconds. And now if we go alpha, we'll do the same thing. We also have to load it more than once just to make sure it's not caching issue or whatever. I mean, like, at least it's transferring the whole time. And the transfer is still slow. So that's 5 seconds. And on beta, it's 7.5 seconds. 3, 4, 5.2. 1, 2. I'm looking at this timer here. 5.0. I guess 900 milliseconds from the top of the page to the bottom. Puzzle replay 3.2 seconds. Puzzle replay. It's a pity because I don't have the timing stuff in here. And of course, we're also not loading the analytics, so that's not a perfectly fair comparison. So, but now at least it seems to be dominated by actual loading time, because for the whole puzzle loading, we're only dedicating 500 milliseconds, and the page loads in about a second. Partially probably because it's waiting for files to load while it's going through the page. Now, if I put the analytics code back, what's that gonna look like? I need to look at this one. So yeah, the analytics code doesn't seem to be a problem here. Because one of the things I also suspect is that while it was tying up the CPU, basically, it could be that something else got stalled because of that, such as the analytics files weren't loading while it was sitting there executing this chunky regular expression. I mean, it still says 5.7 seconds on a local load, which is slow, but it feels faster than that. In fact, it looks faster. Where did the 5.7 seconds go? And this is with cache disabled, right? Yeah. Don't know where that 5.7 seconds came from. Now it's basically 600 milliseconds on the dot. Okay, so that's checkbox, you know. We found a major performance issue. We fixed it. We fixed it, I think, in a backwards compatible way. There's potential for fixing it for the other ones as well. But I think one of the main differences is they're not getting executed at that point. One of the things we might try here is to add timing data. So here, we're going to return this function. Actually, we're going to do it here. Like that. And then we're going to do... Because the other rules might be called in other places, so at least it'll give us a heads up if it's happening elsewhere. So we have 3 here, and none of them take particularly long, so that doesn't look too bad. Let's have a quick look at some of these other test loads here. Yeah, so the others don't seem to be the same, have the same problem as the has XV1. What a disaster. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is gonna add anything. Ooh, all right. All right. So the other things are, and I'll be honest, I'm a bit hesitant because I've worked with Webpack in the past and it was a huge pain in the ass. And chunking all of this together, it's easy when it's all set up, but the setup is a huge pain in the butt. And even if I don't want to do anything complicated, i.e., you know, tree shaking all this, I mean, I'm not even using modules. I could literally just concatenate these files. Now that I said it out loud, I'm almost tempted to write a script that literally does that and then just minifies it. Let's see if I have a JavaScript minifier installed somewhere. npm minify as minify uglyfy minify. All right, I don't have something globally installed. And I don't know if uglyfy.js is really old, so I don't know if that's one that's, you know, still in use today, like, or if there's something much better that everybody's using. It minifies your JavaScript files recurrently. It's designed to reduce the size of your project's node modules directly, but it can be used to minify any JS file. By giving it a direct minify, it will walk through the depth of your folders and minify all the JavaScript that it sees. So I'm guessing this will just create the minified version next to the unminified version. Uglify.js 3. I don't know. Let's see, what's the state of affair here? January 16. Let's see issues. If lots of people are asking if this project's abandoned, this is usually what happens. Is there a way of combining multiple files? Close expression, source map, name cache. So what about if I say uglify.js join multiple files? Maybe there's something. Uglify.js 3. So there's an O with an output thingamajig. If I search for -O. All right. So let's install it globally and see if that's something we can do. It's mostly to see if I can try it quickly. So if I look at my HTML file that brings in all these other files, I'm mostly concerned about these. So if I could actually just take all of this into a list, excluding the CSS files, that would be interesting. So we have output, multiple files. Let's see if there's an example. Okay, so it'll be something like this. Let's bring it into one line just to make sure I fully understand what's going on here. Root. Do we want that? I don't think so. When you're gonna, it was all about a compiler, mapping of the JS code won't be helpful. Instead, you'd like. All right. So we don't want the folder references. We don't need the root statement. We don't need the source map for now. What is the -m? Process input as no. -c. Compress. Enable compressor where you can compress commas, separate list of compress options. Output, yada. Okay. SudokuPad.min.js. Right. And if I take these files and basically do this and this, get rid of all the CSS, which are so helpfully highlighted here. I should have just these, and none of these have used subfolders. So if I take all of these, bring them in here, and I should be able to just add a slash in here for that example to work. Yeah. So if I just add a slash after each of these, like this, nope, like that, I should be able to just connect all these things, create a command, run it on the command line, and it should generate the file, and it should just work. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy in my JavaScript files. If they just executed one after the other, that's really all I'm asking for. Right? If I do this, what do I get? Well, let's find out. Might actually take a while, because I remember minification to be actually quite slow. Okay. So there should be a SudokuPad.min file now. Ugh. Ugh. This looks broken. I don't think it handles style sheets inside strings very well here. Wait a second. Where's this from? I guess it's from in here. SVG. And then it screws up. Ah, wait, no, it doesn't screw up. Oh, it's just the highlighting that screws it up. Okay, all right. Maybe this is okay. It looks odd. Also, why does it have all these tabs in here? If I do this, find all. It should tell me how many there are. 980 selected regions. So why wouldn't it remove those? Let's see. White space. All lines. Indent start. Default 0. Prefix all lines with white space. You would specify the same format. Level. Intent by specified number of space except white space sequence supplied. But white space removal and symbol mangling accounts for 95% minified code for most JavaScript. Not elaborate code transfers. To speed up Uglify builds by 3 to 5 times. And then start. Uglify JS remove leading tabs. One thing actually I didn't even look at yet is how big is that file. That's kind of important because otherwise gzipping would be the better option. So we have SudokuPad.min.js, 362 kilobytes compared to by filter by JS 1.3 megabytes. So that should be quite a big difference. Let's try it, right? If I put this, I think the easiest to do is to just comment all of these out and then copy the style sheets separately and then load in the minified file. We've got 1 CSS, 2 CSS, 3 CSS. And I can actually probably replace these with inline ones, although it's not necessarily the best idea either. So we had 1, 2, so color, pen, replay, calculator, letter. I think that's all of them. And then we should be able to just do SudokuPad.min.js. Let's see what happens. Well, it felt fast. Felt fast. Hey, babe. Let's see. The size still looks fairly similar. Prepare injection. Wait, what? This is one of the Chrome extensions. I don't know which one. React Developer Tools. Okay, can I pause that? Why would that load in? There's no React happening at all. Let's just disable that if we can. All right. Because that's like doubling our page load. So the Ethos decoder we should also add. So if I add that in at the higher level, which would be up here. So that's fpuzzles decoder dot js. Now it's already minified. If I inject it in here, because part of my strategy here is also to load that one first. I also don't understand why analytics has to load a 46 kilobyte file, an 82 kilobyte file, on two separate IDs. I have to check into that. That might be my mistake. And then another 20 kilobyte file. And this one is actually 120 and 240. It just happens to be gzipped. This is weird. I'm definitely doing something wrong here. Definitely. Because, okay, so, sorry, I'm not expressing myself well. Basically, I'm loading it early. The idea being that I can do certain things using the stuff in this file because it's loaded synchronously and it doesn't have to wait for everything to load. But the truth of the matter is, making the connections is probably more like, I don't think it actually brings in things earlier. Let's have a quick look what our phone loader is doing now at this stage, right? I mean, it's definitely quicker. There's still all the CSS and stuff such going on. Maybe that's part of why it's still taking some time. Yeah, I need to figure out how I get Google to load fewer files. Google Analytics loading multiple large JS resources. Like, how can I reduce that? You want to manage a account, there should be only one script. Going to open up your door too. Yeah, I know there's more than one. How do I make it stop? There's this one. Where's the other one coming from? Wait a second. Where is the other one coming from? This G yada yada yada. I know that I'm using it somewhere, but where is it getting loaded from? So this one is initiating this other one. Like, what the hell? The problem with this is these articles are likely always out of date, no matter what you find. Like 2012, right? This is probably not how things work now. So, unfortunately, this is not accurate. Yeah, but how? Pages idle. Fast with party. Oh, they're trying to sell something. So, yeah. I wonder if I can lazy load it, but it probably is already lazy loading. So let's have a look if we change the sort order here and refresh. Where does the Google Analytics stuff happen? We have 18 kilobytes on the initial. All right, let's also look at gzipping, right? So it's still almost a megabyte. And the problem is we're not using Express. So Node.js gzip response. Can I add this without using Express? Without Express. Yeah, everybody's using Express. I mean, I should probably switch to using Express, but I'd like to just do this, basically. Decompress the node, recursive model, gzip response body, uncompressed body. Use. All right. So node HTTP send gzip without express, please. Ah, now we're talking. But it's request. But this is... Wait, this is a request. I need a response. Let's have a look at HTTP. Find G's. Ciao. No. Let me think. We need... I'm thinking if I can search for the headers string. All right, let's have a quick look at the server software, which lives here. And I believe it's this and or simple server. So I'm just using HTTP. So node HTTP send gzip compression with node. Basically, I just wanted not with Express, just the raw. Hey, here's you building an HTTP server. Nope, this is using Express. Minus Express. Come on, Google. You used to know how to do these things. So go to generate async, compress, JSON loads. No, that doesn't sound useful. Nope. No, not from browser. Well, I'm basically building a proxy here, so maybe this is helpful. Okay, there was one earlier that was sort of doing the thing. All right, let's see. It's being sent from here. Path to content type. Serve static path. Now the question is, does it gzip only for JS? And it probably does it for all these text ones, right? There's probably like a list somewhere where it says, oh, gzip for this and this and this, but not this, this and that. If I refresh this and I check for what's being gzipped, does that include things like PNG? It seems like it. Resource size 7.4. Does that mean it's gzipping a PNG? Request header, response headers. It doesn't say anything about gzip in the response here. Response header. Don't see anything about gzip in the response header. Request headers, response headers. Application JavaScript char set. So I think it doesn't even show the gzip stuff in the response here. Let's see, wait. Chrome, DevTools, gzip, response headers. It doesn't seem to show. It doesn't seem to actually show the content encoding data in the DevTools, which is a little bit annoying. Disable cache. I mean, I have cache disabled, right? So we have disable cache. If disable cache is checked, the response header shows Does not show content encoding gzip. Which one is correct? How do I make it both of them to show gzip? Thanks. Response header encoding gzip. Now it doesn't say that here. Oh, wait. I need localhost 5000. This is the one where it should be gzipped. Right? Okay. Ah, content encoding gzip, yeah. Now, what I wanted to know before is, does it content encode gzip for PNGs? No. But it's smaller when it's being transferred. That's so strange. Don't know. 7.8, yeah, it makes a big difference. All right. Content encoding. Let's have a look at just that aspect of it. Right, encoding. 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 Coding. What about content? Encoding. Remove the queued for implicit sending. Right. Note HTTP content encoding gzip. No, I don't want to read. Now, is this with or without express? Requirements, npm. Let me guess, he's installing express. All right, bugger off. Ah, here we go. I'm gonna be gzip encoded, dude. All right. Are you though? Encoding. Well, let's see. So if I add this under here, like that, and then wherever we're doing our response.write, response end, probably under serve static. Right. Head encoding, gzip request response encoding. Is that all we need? Is that really all we need? Example.js, index.js. Do we need? Oh. Wait. It's doing a bunch extra stuff. Oh, okay. This is the thing he's building. I see. Oh, and it spawns it externally. Ugh. But I see what he's trying to do. Basically, he's at least this should give me an idea of how to turn it into a, you know, doing all the streamy stuff. So we had gzip here earlier. Just unzip gzip sync gzip buffer options. So what about node gzip stream? Pipe. I'm piping here. Okay. Create gzip from zlib. All right. Const gzip equals require zlib. Does that work? Let's see. I don't actually know. Been modifying this file. I don't actually know if it's still. Oh, this just doesn't exist. Yeah. Okay, that seems to work. That, yep, okay. That's a thing. So, opens the file as a readable stream. Now we have something going on with files streaming and reading and writing and all that stuff already. And let's see if we can make this a little bit. Oh, my nose is itching so much. Okay. So we have file size, stat, yada, yada, yada. Create read stream. Create write stream. Create read stream. fs.create read stream file name. So that's what we're doing here. And then we could just pipe it through create gzip basically. Maybe. And now, if we're going to 912, it blows up. Okay. Why? Why does it blow up? Failed to load data. Why does it blow up? Oh, it crashes here. And in what way? Create gzip is not a function. Create gzip is not a function. Is it a function now? Looks like it. Okay. It is smaller. Do we just add content encoding? gzip, no gzip, HTTP content encoding. How do we set all this stuff up? Now this one I think is an old one. Do we just add content encoding? Accept encoding, yada, yada, yada. It's a little complicated if you want to do it properly, but in our case, maybe we don't need to do it properly. Or maybe once I have a rough draft of it, maybe it makes sense. Just rebuild the server with Express, or just find a, you know, something that does it. So where is the content encoding? Set header. Content encoding. Encoding type. Coder info. Oh my god. Get supported encoder. Alright, what if I just say content encoding gzip? What if I just do that? What if I just do that? Okay. Oh, something's happening. It's happening very, very slowly. Why is it happening so slowly? What was that? What was that? Finished in 16 seconds. Why? Why? Okay, it's smaller. Now, obviously, if we can cache it, you know, it should be a lot better. My god, why is it so slow? This is atrocious. Some of this takes forever. 5 seconds. Why? It zipped it, but it took 5 seconds. What the hell? I mean, we'd probably want to cache it. Jeez. It still shouldn't take this long though. What the hell? Come on, 5 seconds. Size. Oh, what? All right. Okay. Right. Now we should be able to mime check this stuff. So if I just toggle this off, right? It should be back to normal. Yeah. Yeah, back to normal. 948, whatever, right? And we should do the mime thingamajigging here somewhere. I'm guessing not mime checking doesn't happen here. Simple server doesn't do mime checking. Server. Does that do mime checking? Apparently not. Apparently the word mime doesn't exist anywhere here. I could have sworn before it did some sort of mime checking. I don't remember what it related to. Content type, bar set, match root, serve static. Like, I'm not seeing any mime related library being included here in any way. Did we do any kind of type checking here? Here we go. Path to content type. Okay. Let's see. Content type, text HTML. Which then would be overridden. Yes. Okay, I understand. Request headers, assign, request headers. If I do this, and then do this, it should tell me all of these things, right? Okay. So then I should be able to do something like if request headers content dash type dot match, and we want to look for either text slash HTML or application slash JavaScript or text. Well, text slash anything, right? Or application slash JavaScript. I think that's fair. So, boom. Log gzip. Let's just do this. Right? So if I do this, it should tell us, oh yeah, these should be gzipped. Okay. So if we're gzipping, then we'll do request headers, content encoding. And I don't know if we want to override what's coming down from the outside. So we could say if request headers and content encoding equals undefined. So only if it's not already set from the outside equals gzip. All right, that's wrong in so many ways. Here we go. Let gzip enable equals false. It's true. And then if gzip enabled, we'll pipe it through create gzip. So if I do this, it should only gzip these files. but it's still super slow. Super slow. Now, I don't think I can async the piping stuff. So maybe create gzip has some arguments and we can maybe fiddle with this a little bit. So create gzip, right? Create gzip. Maybe we don't want to create gzip, right? Creates and returns a new gzip object. It's the example. So maybe we want to set this up here. This.gzip equals create gzip. And then we'll just pipe it through this. Maybe creating a new gzip object is what's taking so long. Nope. Zip-a-dip-a-dip. Because there is no this.gzip, because this is a C function. Why am I doing it this way? This is terrible. Why are... all right. I should be asking these questions since I'm the only one who can answer it. Hey, Miss Ella Kitty. Oh, is it screwing around again on YouTube? To fix that... Or probably... Is it still causing a problem on YouTube? Because right now it says stream is excellent. So I don't really know what to think. What time? Let's see. What time did that? Sorry, I didn't look at. Oh wait, no, you're talking on Twitch. Is it also troublesome for you on YouTube? Twitch is saying excellent. No recommended changes. So, yeah. It's supposed to have a inspector, but apparently I'm not logged in. I'm just streaming. Okay, here we go. Stable, 3.4 megabits per second. I have 2 unstable events. Don't know. Oh, the code. Oh, geez. Yeah, the code. Ugh. You got me in a panic here. All right. This is failing utterly. I'd like to know what this gzip object here is. Properties of undefined, undefined. Oh yes, okay. C.start. So this is a class function, and I don't know exactly why I'm using a class function here. I'm using a class function here as well. So if I look at server, so I'm just using these functions willy-nilly without reference to the actual server object. Add route and start. I don't even know. Add route. All right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I should rip all this out and replace it with what's the word? With Express, anyways. All right. So this is doing something else wrong now. Oh no, no, it's still just really slow for some reason. Content length mismatch. Okay. So I'm suspecting this is not how I'm meant to be using it. Oh, those are from Superman dialogue. Yeah. Maybe I am supposed to create a new instance for every source gzip destination. Like here, it certainly looks like it's creating a new instance of gzip for each file, especially since it might be overlapping. Can be accomplished by the resource stream through zlib transform streamer to destination stream. Sure. Why is it so slow though? No, create gzip slow. Why is gzip slow? Add branch to G unsub cycle. Slow loading. Why is it so slow? I'm sure it's not supposed to be this slow. I've, you know, run gzip and stuff before. So, creates and returns a new unzip object. Decompress either a compress object there. Note zlib unzip performance. Yeah, I don't know why I do these things to myself. Are you using VS Code or Eclipse as your ID? I'm not using an ID. It's just a text editor. You have to pay me a lot more money for me to use an ID. All right. Gzip. Why's my phone dinging? So, let me just check the chats. It's called Sublime Text. I used to use Notepad++ for the longest time. And sometimes I regret not doing that anymore. Sublime Text sometimes has performance issues. Zlib constants create deflate. This method accepts single parameters options. Create deflate for Zlib module which create new deflate objects. To this day, I don't like the wording deflate because my non-native English brain doesn't quite grasp how that's, if that's compression or decompression. Because of the D at the beginning of flating. Create unzip as an unbuilt application program interface for Zlib. Set up gzip method. Create inflate raw. Zlib create inflate. Create unzip. Deflate. Create deflate sync. Create gunzip. Create Broadly. Create gzip. Okay, so create gzip node http content encoding create gzip. I still haven't found like an example. Well, I guess I found an example, but it just doesn't seem to work properly. Go away. Like, do I have to recreate this? And what am I looking here? This is not, Jesus Christ, Google. What happened to you, Google? Accept encoding gzip. What's my native language? Well, it's probably English by now. But I was born German. But I haven't really spoken German in many years, so one of those hybrid brains. I don't understand. I don't understand why nobody's documenting this stuff properly. So far, this has been quite useless. Like, why would this be so slow, and why would it blow up in all these different ways? It doesn't make sense, right? So I obviously cannot reuse this thing, but, you know, it's not like it's documented or mentioned somewhere. But why is it so slow? 6.5 seconds. Come on. Let me check on the phone. If I refresh this, like, what is it waiting for? Like, if I look at these timing bits here, time, it's like all the way from the first one. Everything is just delayed by 5 seconds suddenly. Connection start, stalled 3.35 seconds. So, generating the gzip data, is that what's taking it that long? Content encoding create gzip. Content stalled. Yeah. Now the other alternative is to explicitly do it myself. Add a gzip header. You know, have the. But then, man. I mean, I could build it also in here. Kind of cache it. Compress it once. Let me see. Is there a way of timing it? Node pipe timing. Timing streams. Is there like a way of just kind of as if it was like just add a function? Streaming on data. That's not what I want. Stream on. I want to measure the amount of time elapsed between data emission event and our stream. Can you use time and event listener? Time if timing time end. Stream name time stream on. We want to measure the amount of time that's left between data emission event on our stream. No, that's not what I want. Between pipe start and pipe end. I don't quite understand. Pipes, I don't know. I think pipes are in principle simple, but I think they're always talked about as if they're complex and magical. Wait. Stream.pipeline instead of stream.pipe. Promisify the pipeline method instead. So, so we could just do something like console.time gzip. And then we'll do a stream.on finish. We'll just do console.time end gzip. Then fix all the mistakes. A gzip should be plenty fast. And it should definitely not take 3.5 seconds, so there's definitely something else wrong. PGzip. I mean, I don't think it's a compression performance issue. No such later gzip for time end. Time gzip for console.time end. Stream on finish. Let's do it. Oh yeah, because it's probably only happening in here. I shouldn't be doing this through my phone. Do we have, yeah, this one, just one file. Let's just restart this one. Yeah, you see, this particular file is taking, you know, 16 milliseconds, 2 milliseconds, not 3 seconds. Now, this one is much larger. 95 milliseconds, 36. So, all right, 100 milliseconds per file, I'll give you that. Well, if it's 30 files, does it add up? Good question. Now, where are these places where it fails? Let's see if we can make this label a little bit more descriptive. File path. If I put that in here. Right. And we'll take file path dot match is something that doesn't have slashes in it near the end of the file. Right? Something like that. Something like that. Bracket. Something like that. This is gonna give us file names. Nope. Match. Not that. Yeah. So, we're gonna move this down there. Let time label equals that. And that hopefully should eliminate the overlapping or lacking of intermittent timing labels, yada, yada, yada. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll probably console.log the start time label. All right, so start gzip Sudoku HTML, done. Style CSS, done. 17 milliseconds. So they're all short. So the gzipping, if my timing here is correct, the gzipping is short. It takes only a couple of milliseconds, less than 100 milliseconds, right? Why it stalls out and then kind of pauses before serving more files, that's the real question. Ow. So the question is also like, I'm gonna do something like this. Let d0 equals date dot now. Right, and then we should be able to just add timing information here. And I'll just we'll just do date.now minus t0. It'll be relative to the server restart, which makes it a bit nasty, but it shouldn't be too weird. Yeah, so between here and here, it just doesn't do anything for 5 seconds. Why? And it served these 3 files by then. I wonder if that's something from the browser side. Like the individual file is fast. Even multiple ones of them. So maybe there's something wrong with the encoding. Oh wait, what? What's going on here? Wait a second. Oh man, oh no, that's the wrong browser window. I really don't like the double wide columns. It makes it so hard for my brain to parse stuff in here. Like it's screwing around with extra. Why is it hitting Google Analytics so many times? One second. Let me get rid of the large request rows just so I can get a freaking idea of what's going on. FPuzzles decoder. The thing is, even the first request here is taking so long. This does a content encoding gzip. All right. Content length 18. Is it the content length? Because that's wrong here. Wait, node HTTP gzip content length. How do I get the actual content length for the gzip data exactly? So maybe I just don't add the content length? But I had problems with that before. Maybe that was it? That seems alright. There's still a lot of noise. The CSS would be nice to minify as well. And Uglify.js might be able to handle it. So how long does this take now? 776 milliseconds. Thing is, I'm not sure if this is safe to deploy. We have that, the rules parser, yeah, because now we have. I've been messing around in the server code. Oh, and oh no, it's not even clean. It's so dirty. It's so dirty. Oh no. Oh wait, am I? Yeah, I'm in the right place. Oof, I don't want to be here. It's so dirty. All right, let's see if we can reduce the noise. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this and this and this and this and this. Right. The max head size. When did I add that? 191. All right, get rid of that. So what do we have? We have, and that's the only file we're modifying here. So we're removing the content length, and I might live to regret that. We've destructured how the request headers are added. We are adding the encoding only for text and application JavaScript. So that's including CSS and HTML. Okay. Now, if I deploy this onto alpha, before I do that, let's double check that alpha currently does not gzip. So we have alpha here, and we are currently, yeah, it's taking a while. Let's do it again. Another tab just in case. So this is taking forever. So we have DOM content loaded, 4.76 seconds, DOM content 4.8 seconds. All right. Now if we deploy to alpha, yeah. And if I refresh now, how much quicker is it? 3 seconds. How much was it before? 4.8 seconds. That's definitely faster. 3 seconds. I mean, and total size. Wait, finish 6.72 seconds. Ah, but that might include like late loading of analytics stuff. Yeah, there's some analytics stuff that comes in late and that updates that number. 945 kilobytes of resources, 666 kilobytes of resources. What? Well, okay, that's alpha. What does it look like on beta? .1 megabytes of resources. But that doesn't include the minification, right? So 822 kilobytes transferred. 687 transferred. Now here, if I sort by size, it says 208 kilobytes. If I sort by size, it's 300. Wait, what? Oh, because this is not everything yet. Okay, so this is definitely not G-zipping. Why is this not G-zipping? Because we're only deploying... We didn't actually deploy this update to the server software. Can I deploy it to alpha only for testing? Because this really needs some testing. We have deploy server. Sorry, my brain is a bit fried. Yes, the server software is shared, but it's only it should hit all three. If I update this, so I can't currently test this on alpha only. Can I? How am I running alpha here? How do I check that? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna do this off stream. I'm just thinking maybe I can upload the script as server 2, even though I'm actually updating simple server, aren't I? Or maybe I just run it locally for a while and test it out. I mean, it seems to be working fine. The concern I have is the removal of content length. So the question is, are other solutions such as Firebase, including content length while also G-zipping? Maybe, you know, maybe they got some magic that I don't know about. See, I don't see G-zip here. It's 43 kilobytes, but I don't see a G-zip header here. So I don't, man, I don't understand what's going on here. Content encoding BR. What the hell does that mean? Available as an HTTP content encoding method. Oh. Earlier I was thinking, oh, broadly, obviously that's not going to be a thing. So if I use broadly compress, broadly options. Hey, if I do this, just to test, if I do BR, and then I'll do, I guess, create broadly compress. Like this. And maybe I can find some... Ah, my nose itching. I can find some examples for this. Go away. Go away. Jesus. None of them use any arguments, so maybe the arguments are not super critical. So currently I'm getting... what's the total size? 342 kilobytes transferred. 321. Size... now I need the large rows again. So this is 370 and goes down to 88.4. And then here. So the other question I have. Sorry. Other question I have is accept encoding. So we basically want to look at the accept encoding headers. I'd like to do this in one place, ideally. Right head. Ah, we can do this here. Then we can do this in the same place. We can actually set the stream up here. Right? And I guess we can combine these two things here. Like this. And this we don't need anymore then. And now, in fact, we'll start this at the top. Now in here, we don't need this variable anymore. We'll bring that up here. We'll do that. We don't do this. We move this to here. And now we can look at URL request response. So let's see how we can see the request headers. So let's have a look at node HTTP request accept encoding. Why am I looking at an ABM website? That's not what I'm here for. Request.headers accept encoding. All right. All right, this is the last thing I'll try today. I'll probably release the other change. The minification one, it's a little dodgy because to do that one, I probably want to establish a pipeline first, like a workflow, because that'll change how I deploy and test. Excuse me. Then maybe I'll do a like automatic build and cache type system on the server rather than before deploying. Although that's maybe a little bit less safe. Oh yes, I want to look at these server headers. Ah, okay. So if we do accept encoding dot split by white space, comma, white space. Would that remove the white space from the split elements? Don't know. Let's find out. Yes, it looks like it. Okay. If I do this, and then I can say if dot includes BR, we'll do this. Boom. And I'm probably just going to ignore deflate for now. Actually, I wonder. Performance of encoding BR deflate gzip. Like there must be somebody must have done the work to compare all these. 1 second, my phone is blowing up with stuff from YouTube. And Twitch. Okay, I don't think that's relevant. Is there around that? Difference between broadly and gzip compression or deflate. I still don't know if deflate is good compression or not. 3 algorithms. When a web browser contacts a server, it says a header looks like. Okay. Compression mainly applies to HTML, JavaScript, CSS. Sure. Most audio files. Google, yeah. I also want to look at encoding headers for the fonts. Okay, so first we are header Google improvement, but made it faster and compression web content. Great. Compress files, library, yada yada yada. While specializing operation, conversions need for a way to compress streams more efficiently. Design broadly. Okay. Preferring, yeah. What about deflate? All purpose conversion materials behind GZip are based on early compression. The deflate is the least interesting one. So we'll do GZip next. And then finally we'll do deflate. So I'm guessing there's a create deflate analogous to the other ones. Yeah. And I think that should be it. And we want to double check our other file types to see if there's anything else that's interesting. Text, SSS. I want to see if the fonts show up in here, but I'm not sure I'm getting font files from my own server here, or if they're all external. You'd think that they would BR encode these. Response encoding. Must have sent accept encoding headers. Yeah. So it would be content encoding. One sec. Google fonts encoding BR compression. Google fonts G-static. Yeah, that's a good question here. Well, they don't seem to GZip it. All right. Not something I should be looking into right now. So I'm gonna leave this line in to remind myself. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna remove these, clean it up. So if I now do this, it's loading the whole thing. It's 323 kilobytes transferred. Largest item is 88 kilobytes for the minify.js. Should make a huge difference, to be honest. Ooh. And let me go on my browser, in my phone, do our hard reload. There's still kind of some things where it's like pauses and times and moves on to the next thing. Waiting for server response, 700 milliseconds. Now this one, is it It's BR encoded. What was the time? I'm trying to remember now. What was the timing in the end? Because now gzip is working, right? And it wasn't working before. Oh yeah, it was the content length was wrong. So I guess on the browser it was trying to figure something out, waiting for things to time out and whatnot. 272. Why is that size number different every time? That's so odd. Finish 900 milliseconds. 5.8. Goddamn Google. All right. So we can test that just now. Oh, and if we go to alpha from here, from the phone. Go. So this is a remote server from the US, our slow server basically, and it now took 3 seconds. And we can actually, let's load up the big puzzle. Import, export, load file. Oh, nope, load file. I must have pressed and save somehow. So let's grab the big one. So we have one, it's like 15, 16K. Yeah, 15K, Tolcat quadrilling. And boom, loaded. Now it's 2 seconds for the replay, and that's something I can work on as well. And if I refresh it, so 2 seconds for the oh. So this was slow before it started on the replay. 2.3 seconds on the replay, 1.1 second on loading of the puzzle. There's still something going on here. There's still something going on. Okay, what's the timing before we wait for the Google stuff? So 3 seconds, now it's doing the replay. 7 seconds by the end of the replay. The replay was 2 seconds. 4 seconds for the whole thing. There's something I'm missing. Something that's happening. Waiting for server, 400 milliseconds. And that's like 400 milliseconds just to wait for this response to start. That just seems so slow. If I do it from my desktop machine. Let's do it in timing order. Oh man, these columns are... So the first one here. Initial connection, 260 milliseconds. Can I have freaking pop-up here? Waiting for server response, 260. And if I do it on app.crackingencryptor.com. Hey. What a session. But this is probably going to do more to improve people's experience with the app than, you know, adding fancy features and stuff. Yeah, this is so much faster. So much faster. God damn it, why is it so fast? What did they do? Man. Alright, well, let's give it a tiny little spit and polish before I chuck it all up there. Or some of it at least. I don't think I can chuck all of it up there just yet. Alright, so let's get rid of our interference. Our messing about here. Get rid of that timing stuff. I guess it's the tabs. Yeah. Now what I'm gonna do about this, I'm not certain just yet. Let's clean all that up because I can't check that up there without a build procedure. All right, 2195 2159. Okay. and 3431 and 3657. Oh yeah, these are the ones I probably want to leave in. Although, yeah, actually, if I can get rid of all changes to this file, that would be great. Check for, do this. Boom, yeah. No file in script.js. That's actually very nice. So we fixed, so the rules parser change, that's the real fix. So let's do something for that. Let's actually do a version update for that. Let's wait. All right, let's save this as a second file. Go.min.html, whatever. Then we'll go back to sudoku.html. We're going to discard changes on that. Then we're going to open it up. And we'll get script.js version equal. Oh, no. All right. We get rid of the patch version. We'll go here, update the version on this. So now we should have a clean script.js, a clean Sudoku HTML, and we should have the updated rules parser. And we'll call this improve rules parser has xv. Improved rules parser has xv. Right. Testy. I mean, it's still going to be a lot faster than it was before. The minification, you know, it'll improve things, especially on mobile, but that it has xv was the real chunker of an issue. All right. And I'm gonna, this one is ready to deploy. Now, before I deploy, I think I'm gonna pull those two files out of there. Those minified files. Like, I want to have a single switch toggle to enable or disable that stuff. But this rules parser issue, that was the real kicker, I think, that was giving these weird, endless performance issues. It doesn't fix that I have seen 20 seconds on the remote server loading. So I'll have to keep an eye on it. But I was getting to the point where it wasn't fun to use it on my own phone because of these issues. Now, one of the issues I have is that in production, it might still have the bug. Apply beta. So if I go to SudokuPad.app right now, here, and I execute has xv, as xv, rules parser dot has xv, empty string, xv 1 2 3 4 5 x comma with cells. So here, this one is fast, which is a little odd. Okay. Do I have the previous version in here somewhere still? So I'm looking at the timing information here. SudokuPad.app. But I haven't deployed to production here. But it could also be yeah, basically what I'm sorry, let's say I'm not speaking the words. Basically what's occurring to me is that the has_xv was a different version and I've changed it later, and that's where I kind of screwed it over. Although it's looking already to have that whole calaboose in there. I don't like this because I cannot guarantee right now that I'm not chasing a phantom, that I'm actually solving a problem here. So this version should still have the original stuff in it. So if I go rules parser.hasXV on an empty string, what is going on? Okay, so that just took 12 seconds to execute. So it's definitely an issue on a phone. So if I go to beta now, that issue should be gone. Okay, and if I go back to that. Now, why is it? It seems like it's taking longer. It's almost maybe because it's an empty string. Maybe it takes longer on an empty string. So the empty string might be harder to figure out. Yeah, this is an issue. Can I? Yeah. Oh, nope. All right, well, that was something. So I hope that will fix, especially... So this would explain why I felt it more on the phone than on my computer. The computer is just more powerful, and it can just do something better with it. I don't know. I mean, the second version here is so much faster. What about A, B, C? What about A? Now it's fast. Probably because it's now pre-compiled or something. I don't know. It's weird. All right. Sorry if this was a little bit of a technical thing today. Got to do those sometimes. So there's still a bit of to do here. I need to re-investigate the whole kind of minification of the files, if that's worthwhile. And look at the broadly compression on the server. At least those two are independent. I personally feel this is probably the bigger kicker than the compression itself, because it's the number of requests, I think, more the issue than the bandwidth, because it's like, you know, it saves you 500 kilobytes, 700 kilobytes, but that's really not a lot. I mean, that can easily be eaten up by like a single image or something. So I gotta be realistic there. All right, that was another technical code hangout. Thanks for hanging out, though. And I gotta do a episode 100 soon. I can only drag this out for so long, but I do want to do something special. We'll see. Maybe I'll surprise. Maybe I'll do something quirky, and maybe I'll do something foundational, fundamental, functional. We'll see. In the meantime, thanks for hanging out. This has been Sven, and this was Code Hangout. Take care. Bye-bye.